Today I'm going to show you how to make the text animation that you see on this screen. You can use this text animation in your videos to create a more vibrant, more dynamic look. I'm creating a new composition. This is a 10-second composition with a 9020 by 1080 black background. I create this composition by clicking on the OK button. I take the text tool and write a text. In a whole, our text will be After Effects. So, right now, I have just typed after. I will change it to white. Let's do some basic editing, so that it is in the center of the scene. And from the Align panel, I center it both horizontally and vertically. From the keyboard, I press Ctrl R, the initial letter of the ruler, and I open this ruler on the edges. I will draw a mask in a moment, and we will use the ruler to make it easier for us to solve this mask. So, I drag the ruler to the side of the text, and let's do it on the left side. Let's draw a ruler from above. Like this, below the text, there may be small gaps. It doesn't have to be exactly 0, and again, I select the rectangle from above. Let's make the verb value white. Make it clean and draw a rectangle to cover the text completely. As you can see, the ruler lines are actually our guide lines. When we draw this, a new layer will be created on the timeline. It is called Shape Layer. We can change its name. I click on the Enter button from the keyboard on the layer. Let's not keep it as Shape Layer. Let's change it to Matte. We can close its properties by clicking on the icon on the left. And now, let's click on After. We will change the mode. If this part is not visible, you can click on this button just below it. When you click on this button, as you can see, the interface on the timeline changes. When we click again, and these are the options we want right now. I will change the none value here to Alpha Matte. I will try to explain why we are doing this with animation now. We can do a 100% fit on our scene right now. And then I click on the text layer and press P for position on the keyboard. When I press this, the position property will open and we will be able to animate on this area. When we get to the first second, I click on the icon on the left side of position. So we have given a keyframe here. I move the timeline to the far left and I move the value on the left to the left and notice the after. As you can see, the text disappears because we created a mask and we made this text appear in the mask. When we go outside the mask, when we go outside this top layer, which you can see the lines when we hover over it, when we go outside of it, the text will disappear. I swipe to the left until the text disappears completely. So, the goal we wanted to achieve here was this, such an animation right now. Now, we will do the same for the next line. So, I add another text below it. Let's edit now. I place this text like this and draw a ruler here again. Now, I do the same process again, this masking process. Again, I take the rectangle tool and this time I draw a rectangle to the left of the text. After drawing this, I click on the layer. This has an anchor point, so there is the center point here. I click on the anchor point icon and I take this center point and I press the Ctrl key on the keyboard and I drop it just to this left. So, we have the anchor point here. Now I select this layer and I press the letter S on the keyboard. When I press the letter S, the scale feature will be turned on, and by turning on this little lock, we can only resize in one direction. When I make it 0, I click on the icon on the left of the scale value and I give it an animation. So, I give it a keyframe. When we get to the first second, I make this value 100%. Here is the animation. If you want the height of the rectangle to be the same as the height of the text, you need to change this value. You need to change the value on the right. You can do something like this. Of course, when you change this, you need to change the value of the keyframe on the left in the same way. Now, we have an animation like this. Let's call this bottom part, let's call it a box. And I'm duplicating this box right now by pressing Ctrl D. D is for duplicate. And we will use this new duplicate for the mask of the text below. So, this is our current box. I move it to the bottom. We are not doing that. We will see this constantly. The top layer is the layer we will use for masking. I select the top box. Press the letter U on the keyboard and the scale property that we just assigned keyframes to will appear. I cancel it by clicking on the icon on the left. So, all keyframes are gone. Now, I come to the FX text and what we just did for the word above, we do for the word below. So, I select this as alpha. and the text will disappear because there is no text where the box was. So I need to expand this box. I press the letter S again. I play with the value on the left again. I move it to the right, and as I move it, our text will appear. Now that we have done this part, we can now animate the effects text. I go to the first second and I select the text and I press the letter P on the keyboard. Now I'm giving it a keyframe. Now I move the timeline to the left and I move it to the left so that the text is not visible. When it goes out of this box, the text will not be visible. This way is enough. So when we look at the animation, we will see such an animation. Now let's select all the layers first. With all the layers selected, I press the letter U on the keyboard and they will disappear. I press the letter U again and only the properties of the layers with keyframes will open. In this case, I select all keyframes here and I press F9 on the keyboard. The keyframes will become softer and I open the graph editor by clicking on the icon here. If it looks like this for you, click on this icon and select Edit Speed Graph. Each feature has two keyframes, one on the left and one on the right. I select the ones on the right completely. Grab the arrows and expand them to the left. You can zoom in by playing with the navigation slider at the bottom if you need more detailed work. I close Open Graph, and if 1 second is too long for you, you can select them and turn it into 2 seconds. That's actually the animation. But you can spice it up with various little tweaks, like the word at the bottom starts coming in later than the others. How do we do this? We move the first keyframe a little bit further. Let's check it now. If you think it's too late, you can move it a bit more to the left. Or similarly, we can delay the bottom box. This way you can get different results by playing with the keyframes. Now we can pre-compose. I close all of these and press Ctrl-Shift-C on the keyboard and the Precompose window will open. The purpose of Precompose is this. It combines all of these into one composition. If you use Photoshop, you can think of it as grouping or smart object. I click OK and this is a new composition. I can go into it and continue my edits if I want. But this is now available as a separate composition. Why do you need this? When we want to minimize this animation in its entirety, for example, we will only need to minimize and move this composition and we will be able to use it wherever we want by making edits like this. For example, if you want to change the color, we can use the Tint Effect in After Effects. I drag the Tint Effect over composition and make the white value here a different color. Or we can add a transform effect. I drag this effect here again. Let's make sure the skew value -10 for example. As you can see, by playing with the skew value, we have created a more dynamic text effect. This is our text animation. That's it. We can color it, we can develop it. Let's add a solid to the background. And let's give this solid a ramp effect. Let's give it a gradient ramp effect. I take this down. We can expand it like this. This is our animation for this video. I hope it was useful. You can create very high quality text animations using this method. That's it for this tutorial. If today's video was useful to you, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. Just click on the subscribe button below this video. Thank you for watching.